Alright guys, welcome back. So let's have a look at miners. But before we take a look, I want to share with you guys a little clip. And I have talked about this one many times. But I want you to take a listen, maybe a minute or two, Michael Saylor. And then we'll take a look at the chart of the Cleanspark. And we'll take a look at the Riot Platforms, Marathon Digital, and Bitcoin as well. So he talked about this one today, earlier in the afternoon. But take a listen, and then we'll go from there.
And we get to 2024, and then we discovered the value of volatility. I mean, really understand it. Because in January of 2024, Bitcoin isn't an asset class, and the second week, the SEC approves those ETFs. And then you start having the snide comments like, well, now we don't need MicroStrategy anymore. They're like just a proxy. They're like a clumsy ETF substitute. We'll just put our money into the ETFs. But what happened at the same time was the halving was coming, and all of the investors, the vol traders, went through a secular rotation, and they started selling the Bitcoin mining stocks and looking for something else to trade. So if you track the liquidity in the options market and in the equity market, there was a major shift in Q1 and early Q2 where a lot of the volatility in the options traders and equity traders, they basically hopped off a dozen Bitcoin mining companies onto MicroStrategy because the Bitcoin miners were going to the halving where their revenues get cut in half. So when that happened, our options interest exploded and we became the #1 options market. When the SEC approved the ETFs, they didn't approve options. Okay, so today, our options market is like $95 billion. Our options market is the same size as our market cap. And then we discovered that the real strategic opportunity we had was we can construct a balance sheet.
All right, so this is enough, but if you understood what he was talking about, this is exactly what I have been talking about from the beginning of the year, plus on top of whatever he was talking about the liquidity. I talk about liquidity many times, and what it is. Basically, smart money goes where the money is, okay? Even if you look at it overall market, a lot of people just look at the market like they just purely focus on equity market, right? So if you're trading equity market and you don't understand options, you don't get the picture. Because underlying, of course, yeah, we understand the equity, but as a derivative, options had pretty big say in the market overall. You just heard their equity trades for MicroStrategy. MicroStrategy is at the moment a $90 billion company, but their options had 95 billion float trading around. Okay, that's big money. So these stocks that are miners that are trading Cleanspark 4 billion market capitalization, Riot 4 billion market capitalization, Marathon on the other hand is 8 billion market capitalization, which has more volume compared to Cleanspark and Riot because liquidity is there, okay? And I'm not talking about any other miners because I keep track of all these three only. Of course, there are some that I added, but these are the three that I have been watching throughout the years. And if you take a look at the Mara and compare it to Riot and Cleanspark, they all dilute just fine, right? Throughout this year, they all have diluted their shares by 30%, 40% or so, and they have done it previous year. And that put the pressure for the stock, increased the volume, and also, just like he said, a lot of people like big money, they were playing with these names until they realized that MicroStrategy kept adding Bitcoin and it became bigger proxy, and it became, just like I said, it's a freaking ETF. It's levered ETF, and he's telling that. And when you tell that to people, like they don't want to accept it. They want to look at MicroStrategy as something like crazy sophisticated like business which is going to infinity. They created infinite money glitch. No, as far as there is this asset which is BTC doing well, I mean, volatility will be there, liquidity will be there, okay? This is where the money is. So liquidity is basically liquidity. Money chases liquidity. It's basically ease of getting in and out of position with a minimal spread. That's what it is. Whether you are trading options or whether you are trading purely stock itself. And in this particular case, we're talking about option market. And that has been the case for the last 4 or 5 years. The option market just went crazy, and that's where the money is. Okay. So regarding these Marathon and Riot Platforms and Cleanspark, in the morning when I was watching, like Bitcoin cracked 100 something plus, but I didn't have an expectation that these stocks would just run through the roof, like let's say Marathon, right? I was watching, okay, 27, 28, and then $30. But as soon as I saw BTC aftermarket close crack above 103, 104, 105, I thought these would be perfect short come today, as soon as Bitcoin just stalled out. But Bitcoin not just stalled out, it just pulled back, because this is the guy basically pushing the price, bidding it up. If there's anybody who is watching this video, if any of you bidding Bitcoin above 100K, if you're buying it or if you have bought it, comment below. I want to know why. But in any case, these miners, this is what it is. As soon as liquidity leaves, they're going to trade, they're going to do their own shenanigan. We understand they have some coins, but these are miners. So we have talked about this one many, many times, but I want to go quickly through the daily charts for all these stocks, and then we'll come back to this sometime in the future again, pretty soon probably. But for Mara, I'm watching this $24, which was the low after this huge move where I said that this stock probably will go to $20. But we did drift higher, tested this 27, 28, and this is pretty big selling candle. Pretty fat candle to the downside. You can see it didn't even try to bounce at the end of the day. So 23.80, I'm watching this as a basically area. If it cracks, I would be watching these $20 levels as a possible area of pullback. Riot Platforms, on the other hand, identical situation. This stock, Riot and Cleanspark pretty much dead in the range-bound shenanigan area, okay? So for these ones, well, for Cleanspark, 13, below 13, 11. Those are the two levels. Riot Platforms, if it cracks 11, it's going to go to 10 or 9. But so far, this range, it can kill a lot of premium in this range. Regarding the BTC, a lot of people speculating, did it put a local top? Well, we don't know, but this rejection of 105, that was pretty brutal. And apparently, there's no demand above 100K. Who wants to buy above 100K? Who wants to bid up above 100K? So far, it has been running purely on speculation and momentum and then craziness. CNBC was calling it animal spirit, but again, it wasn't that crazy. Okay, it didn't feel like it was going out of the roof, but right here, right there, after election, it did feel like it did have some crazy momentum. But if volume cools off for BTC, well, we will see these miners slowly pull back. I'm not going to expect these miners make it easy and just plunge below these levels. Of course, it will pull back, but it will be pulling back just like it has done in the beginning of the year. So just like in the beginning of the video, you listened Michael Saylor talking about the liquidity leaving in Q1, Q2 to more MSTR from these miners. Yeah, you can look at the chart, and this is exactly what happened. So far, second best probably miner for me after MicroStrategy, like as a proxy for Bitcoin, okay? I'm not saying that it's something I own, but as a trading vehicle, as a second best proxy ETF for me would be Mara, because premiums a lot cheaper if you are not able to play MSTR where it has crazy premium and it's a lot higher delta moves. I personally feel okay playing Mara anytime. I feel like I want to play it long or short. But I'm going to be watching these names to fade if Bitcoin just sits here. It doesn't have to go up. Even if it just sits here, these can also just very well maybe chop around and kill premium. But I'm not bullish these names, and I'm not super bearish these names either. I'm slightly biased to the downside and neutral, and this is what's going on. So if you don't understand that, I mean, you can do definitely your own research. These videos are purely for entertainment purposes only. So thanks for watching. See you in the next one.